It's been 24 hours since Claude Sonnet 4.5 was launched, and I decided to test it by building an entire Micro-SaaS web app while recording the entire process and explaining everything I could. Now, I already did expect Claude Sonnet 4.5 to be very performant, but what surprised me the most was how fast it was. It was stupidly fast. And that's usually not the case, especially in the first 24 hours after launching a model. I go from zero to an app in production, and the final result is this app right here. It's pretty simple. All it does is allow you to generate a logo based on whatever you type in. So for example, a mad eagle. Let's pick the color yellow and then let's select sticker, only one logo, generate logo, and wait for a bit. I mean, it's an alternative for builders to have a logo generated in a specific style for their own websites fast and without having to go over to ChatGPT to type in all the prompting to get that specific style. And this idea came from a recent video I made talking about simple web apps like these that generate passive income. In this video, I mentioned that it could be possible to build one in a single day, and that's why I attempted to try it myself. Honestly, it could have been much faster if I weren't talking to a camera, but I already had a huge advantage by having a reference, which was WebDev Cody's icon generator AI project. It's basically the same thing, but for icons. But eventually I'll try to niche down this project so that it works more towards builders, maybe providing the favicon and everything. So yeah, let's see where I get with this. Now, my point with this video isn't to say that you can build any app in a few hours and make millions off of it. There's still a huge amount of work that still needs to be done and that I didn't cover in this video. For example, basic stuff like calculating the correct price for the tokens, attaching Google Analytics, adding Google Search Console, for example. And by the way, making the website have a better SEO so that it has some organic reach. I also think I should eventually use a more cost-efficient image storage like the S3 bucket from AWS. But even so, the tools that I use in this video aren't expensive at all, and you'll still launch it as fast as possible. Another reason why I believe I built this as fast as I did was because I used a starter kit from my community, the AI Forge. But don't worry, this repository is completely free and publicly accessible. But just in case you need a more detailed way to build your entire app, feel free to check out the AI Forge community. Now let's get to the fun part that for me was about like 5 hours ago, which is building the entire web app. And please remember to give me some feedback in the comments so that I can improve these type of videos. Now, before I actually start building anything, let me give you a heads up on this initial setup. This is really just to get your entire environment looking like mine's, so that you can follow along. And this is like pretty easy. All you really have to do is follow along with these commands. Try to install Homebrew, for example. You'll need to install this to later add the Stripe CLI and everything. But I mean, if you have ever coded something, you might have all this already set up. And actually, like Docker, we're not going to use Docker since we want to build it as fast as possible. I didn't even start the timer yet, but as soon as we start building, you'll notice that I'm directly going to make changes to the database in production. But as a disclaimer, if you're not aiming to build it as fast as possible, always use the database locally, always have a Docker to run that database, or even the Redis cache and everything else. So if you've installed everything successfully, you can open up your VS Code, go over to extensions, search for Claude Code, and install their new extension. I mean, it's not exactly new, but it is the version 2.0, which is just much, much better, as now we have a panel on the side. Right here, you can click on that and see that panel. If you want to open that panel and you don't see this button up here, so let me close this, let me close that. You can always Command Shift P or Alt Shift P if you're in Windows, type in Claude, and then select the Open in sidebar. Mine opened up in the left side, but if you want to place it right, just click on that, drag it over here, and it should be inserted. This chat tab right here is Copilot. You can just ignore that and use everything inside of this extension. Now, before I move on, let me start the timer. So start. I'm going to use a template that I always use. I built this template. It's called the AI Forger Starter Kit. If you click on code, you can just download it as a zip file. Since if I click on open with GitHub desktop, it'll just open my own repository. I don't want that. Let me just double click the zip file folder, and now I'll just open the terminal, type in cd downloads to get inside of the downloads folder. Now I'm going to open this file using the terminal. So cd into downloads, then cd into the AI Forger master. hit enter, code space dot. That opens up cursor. It'll be exactly the same thing as working inside of VS Code. The only difference is that all of my pre-configuration, so my commands like command 1 will open up the terminal, but you can just go up here, hit terminal, click on new terminal and have that terminal opened. It's just because I have these configurations and I mean, I feel like it's better for me to build everything just faster. Now, the first thing I'd want to do is git init, and this starts a new repository for this project. And then I'll want to go over to GitHub desktop, click up here, hit add existing repository, find that inside of my computer. So find that folder, add repository, and publish the repository, but I'll obviously name it different. I think I'll name it like simple logo generator AI. Should be fine. Keep this code private. Okay, publish repository. Now let me just save this as first. Save that, publish branch, and we already have the branch published. Now, the other thing I want to do is run npm I. This installs all of the packages from my package.json. Let's wait. I think it'll take like 2 minutes or such. Actually, it was pretty fast. Okay. It didn't take like 10 seconds. So before running npm run dev, and let me actually make my image a bit smaller just so it doesn't take up all the space. Let's grab everything from the .example.env and create a .env file, place everything in there, and now configure all of these environment variables. This is not hard at all. It's just annoying to do, which is setting everything up. But I'll try to do it in a fast way that isn't so tedious. The first thing I'll search for is the database URL. Now, you could run this in a Docker instance inside of your computer, but since I want to build it as fast as possible and not have to configure the environment variables for this in the end, let's just do it directly inside of our hosted VPS. So if you go over to pricing, you'll find VPS hosting, and then under VPS hosting, you can select one of these plans, choose plan, and honestly, this will be much cheaper than using Vercel, for example, just because you know what to expect. You won't simply wake up tomorrow with an expense from Vercel, nor will your server be down because of that. And also because, well, you actually own the server and everything. Like, there's just a bunch of reasons for you to have your own VPS instead of hosting it somewhere else. It's just because usually it's easier to set it up in Vercel, for example, but you'll see in this video that it's not that hard at all. And if you use my coupon Leonardo Grig, you'll get a 10% off. But just saying, you don't have to like go with Hostinger, just check any other VPS. So VPS and then search for whatever. But based on my experience, you'll get way more from Hostinger than any other provider. So VPS hosting, check exactly these features right here. 2 vCPUs, 8 gigabytes RAM, everything, and compare the prices with any other provider. You'll see that, well, it's just better in Hostinger. Even so, because as soon as you start creating your instance, so let's go over there, manage all, get new VPS plan, KVM VPS, you'll see that you have more regions to choose from, and their latency is usually pretty good. So let me choose this one, United States, Boston. And now let's choose OS with panel and find EasyPanel. Select EasyPanel there, click select, choose a password. For mine, I'll just generate a random one, hit next, keep the malware scanner, hit next again. And since I didn't buy this previously, it'll give me the option to like choose from one of these pricings. But I already have a VPS instance running right here. And it's exactly the same thing that you'll have access to. The only difference is that you'll have to register your EasyPanel. It's free. You can you'll just basically log into it like this, exactly like this. So just type in your password, hit remember me, log in, and you should see actually an empty amount of projects, but then just hit create project. Let's again name it simple AI logo generator. Hit create. Now click on the plus sign inside of service, click Postgres, service name will be just Postgres. Then come down here to this tab where it says expose 5432, hit save, already in use for another service. So in my case, I'll just type in 5431, hit save, go back to credentials, grab the external connection URL, go over to my environment variable and place that in here. This is very important that you keep secure. And like for my case, I will definitely change this as soon as the video is done. But with this URL, people will basically be able to go inside of your database and do anything they want. So for now, since we're just locally, this is fine. This is also fine, just gibberish. Now we have to configure the Google OAuth. And this is to have the Google authentication features for our website. To do that, let's go over to console.cloud.google.com, select a project, new project, and here, simple AI logo generator. No organization, just hit create, wait some seconds, it's creating it. As soon as it's done, we should be able to click up here, select the project, simple AI logo generator. And now just go over to APIs and services. As soon as you see this, go over to OAuth consent screen, get started. App name, again, simple AI logo generator. Select your own email, hit next. External, hit next. The email address, just Leonardo Rig, could be the same exact email. Hit next, agree, continue, create. Okay, you should then see this tab. Now go over to clients, create client. The application type is web application. You don't really need to name this. Now for the authorized redirects URIs, if you go inside of the readme.md, you'll find exactly what you have to place in there. So for now, since we're only locally, just grab exactly this URL and add URI and paste it in there. It should be fine. Hit create, and now you have the client ID as well as the client secret. Let's just grab that, go back to our .env, place that in there, hit save, come back here, client secret, paste that in there as well, hit save, and now we'll have to search for our Stripe keys. I won't go through the account creation process for Stripe because it's really intuitive. Just fill out everything. And as soon as you get to creating the actual account for your business, then this is what you'll likely see. Welcome to Stripe. Business name, just fill in simple AI logo generator for my case. Hit continue. This project will receive recurrent payments, so just select that. Hit continue again. And now click on go to sandbox. We want to test things before actually deploying them to production, especially when it's related to payments and stuff. And there you go. You should see this panel if you click on this right here. And if you're not seeing this tab, you can always just type in API up here, click on the first option. Publishable key is that right there. So let's fill it in right here. And then the secret key right here. Now, the only thing missing is the Stripe webhook secret. And if you've installed the Stripe CLI, it's as simple as using this command right here. So let's open up another terminal, place that in, wait for it a bit. And now you'll get this key right here, at which you can come back to your environment variables and just paste that in. Now that we have that, and also, by the way, just leave this running. This is connecting you to your sandbox instance from Stripe. Open up another terminal, and in this terminal, type in npm run dev. If everything was set up successfully, you should get something just like this, where you're able to click on sign in, continue with Google, select your account, and probably this won't work because I forgot an additional step inside of Google, which is heading over to audience and publishing the app. To make sure that you're actually being careful, it's just best for you to select test users and add yourself as a test user. But since I want to launch it as fast as possible, let's just have it like that. Let's see if it will work. And it didn't work, but this error isn't because of Google. It's actually because of Prisma. Before running your app, and let me make this ID a bit bigger, we have to send everything from this schema.prisma over to our database because our database doesn't know that an account exists, that we need a verification token or anything. So we need to push that over there, and we do that with this command. Prisma npx prisma db push. Wait for a while. This should be pretty fast. Okay, and then now we should be able to run the app just fine. Let's go over to localhost 3000 again. Okay, hit sign in, continue with Google. I've selected my account, and as soon as it logs in, it should redirect me to /dashboard. In here, you can click on upgrade to premium. And I haven't tested this page without any products. So let's see what we get. Yeah, choose your plan, and then you don't get any products down here just because there aren't any products inside of Stripe. If you come over to the product catalog tab, you can click on add a product. Let's say random products. Its pricing could be something like $15. And by the way, I don't want to make a recurring payment. Let's just select one off since we're going to be selling tokens and not really uh, a membership. Let me actually come over to the icon generator AI and see how exactly did he handle this. So it's actually 50 credits for $5 and then 100 credits, $9, 250 credits for $20. Let me just use a package pricing and you can get to that tab down here. More pricing options, package pricing, choose that. And in here you can select, so $5 per 50 units, like just same thing. Hit next, then just check to see if everything is set. The pricing seems okay. Random product to description. Okay, add product. And now that I do have a product inside of Stripe, if I come back here and refresh the page, it should identify that product. It didn't. Maybe it needs a while to actually grab that product. Yeah, so auto syncing products from Stripe. Let me reset the app to see if it grabs that fresh. Okay, yeah, it started in auto syncing. Products auto sync completed successfully. So there is our product. If we click on subscribe to random product, this should open up the Stripe checkout as everything was already configured back here. And that didn't work because the way I configured this project was to handle subscriptions, so monthly recurrent payments. Since I'm not using that, we are going to actually use Claude for the first time. So you might have noticed that something changed here. I just renamed the project to Simple AI Logo Generator. That's because Claude saves everything based on the project name, and I don't want it to save based on the other projects that I have with this same name, since I want to grab all the prompts and have it inside of that Notion file. So the first thing I'll describe in here is just, I will not use a subscription for this project. Please correct the Stripe checkout so it works without a subscription product. And then paste in that error, hit enter, and wait for it to build what we need. Okay, it seems like it's done. It's done editing that route. And now if I go back to that, refresh the page and test it again, ideally it should now take me to the checkout page. Nice. It took me to Stripe checkout page. In here, since we're testing it inside of Sandbox, you can place in 424242 for everything. And then the year needs to be something in the future. Place anything for the password. For the card holder name, just Leonardo G, United States. You can leave this like that, I think. Then you need a zip code. So you can go over to a website, random zip code generators online, for a zip code in New York. Just grab that, head back here, hit pay, and this should successfully consider this email as a paid user. So as soon as we go back to the app, the person, like this email, should have a premium access. If it doesn't, and you can check that by clicking on upgrade to premium, let's see where it takes us. Okay, we have a couple of issues here. So the first thing is the tokens aren't being identified. The user logo isn't showing up here, not the user logo, but their profile image isn't showing up here. It should be the same image as from the Google Gmail account. So that is something we need to check as well. And what I like to do is look inside of the database to see if there's actually filled in data, and the problem is that the front end isn't picking up on that data. Or if our database isn't updated, then it means that our connection with Stripe hasn't been like getting everything from Stripe. Then that might mean that we have some problems in the connection with Stripe, since Stripe isn't really sending what we need to our app. First, let's just rename these terminals so we know what's going on. I like to rename them like this. So npm run dev, and then this is just Stripe. This doesn't really have anything. So let's name it npx Prisma Studios, since that's what we're going to be running in here. npx Prisma Studio. And this opens up our database. So right here, you can check that there's this Stripe customer. Here where it says user, you can click on that to check all the users from your app. Member subscription status is active. So that means that it successfully identified this from Stripe, but it has a 0 tokens count. So what I'll do is create a new chat inside of Claude Code and instruct it of the whole context of what's going on. Okay, this was my prompt. This project was initially meant to work with subscriptions, but now I'm building a token-based project with no subscription. It should be able to identify the product from Stripe, and then I specify that like it's $5 per group of 50. I feel like that's important. Like that's a good context to give it, since maybe inside of its training, it'll find that per group tag and understand what I'm talking about. And based on the product and its amount bought, then that should be added as tokens. So 50. Also, please make sure that there are no premium content pages, since users should be able to access anything if logged in and only get restricted based on token quantity when trying to generate with a feature we'll implement soon. This is something that I feel is important to say as well, or else I find it, I don't know with Claude 4.5, but I've seen that some models just go on and try to implement something like a dummy data product just to make that work, like if we were expecting it to make that work. So just specifying this sets the stage for, okay, I don't need to implement this right now. Also remove the next image tag from user's image in the navbar and use normal image so that it doesn't bug. I've noticed that every time I use next image, this happens. So, well, that's just maybe a fix for that. Let me hit enter and see what we get. Yeah, the only annoying thing from this extension is having to click to give it permission every single time. I think there might be a way to handle that. I just didn't really find that yet. So while that's running, just to give you the full context of my thought process behind building an app, I am now worried about how I'll design the logos using Nano Banana. Because, for example, inside of the icon generator AI, you have a lot of styles to pick from. And I believe that the best way to design something using AI is using a JSON like this one. So you have this example, and then create a JSON like this, just example, but for creating a logo small in a pixelated style, please. The context is that it should be a Mad Lion logo. The only thing I wanted ChatGPT to do for me was create this JSON, and now I'll grab that JSON, go over to Nano Banana, and insert that JSON in there like just out of the bat. If after doing this, it creates a logo just the way that I want it to, yep, no, perfect. Okay, so this indicates that using a JSON like this one should be the way to go for me to build based on specific styles. Let's check another one. So like 3D, now in 3D style. And then the only thing I'll have to do is associate each one of these styles with a different JSON. Then have this JSON sent over to Nano Banana, expecting to get an image correlating to exactly what I need. Okay, it's done creating the second JSON test. Let me place that in. And maybe now it will fail because it has the previous context in mind. I should have created a new chat, but even so, it worked just fine. So yep, that is how I'll guarantee all the styles of each logo generated. With that out of my mind, now I'm thinking about the domain. Let's go over to cheap AI domains, search for a domain. I don't want a .ai. I think like a .com should be fine. So simple AI logo generator. I hope this is not taken. Okay, for some reason I got an error from Cloudflare. Let's refresh the page. And there you go, it's not taken. I didn't even look for AI logo generator. Let's check. Maybe it's not taken, but I'd say that it's a pretty nice logo to get. Yep, it's already taken. But we can use like AI dash logo dash generator. I just don't really like those dashes inside of a domain. So let me confirm this and buy that logo. Purchasing it should be pretty simple. Just log in to your Cloudflare account, select which is the time period you'd like to pay for that domain, and just continue on with the purchase. And soon enough, you bought simple AI logo generator. Usually I overthink this a lot, and I'm still overthinking it, to be honest. Like simple logo generator AI.com would have it been better, but whatever. Let's just go with that. Now back to Claude Code, it seems like it changed a bunch of things. Every time that it talks about the migration from Prisma, since I want to just build it faster, let's just use npx prisma db push all those changes over to the database without really caring about migrations. Hit Y to confirm those changes, as these, like, be careful when you already have the app done, already running in production, people are using it. Yeah, just be really careful with that whenever you already launch the product. Now it instructed us that inside of the Stripe dashboard, we should add a metadata. So let's go over to Stripe. Let's click on that product. And then inside of that product, we can click on edit price, I believe. And then in some place here, we should be able to change the metadata. It's actually down here. So metadata, select that. The key should be tokens. And then for this pricing, it should be 50. So hit save. And later on, we have to check if it's even possible for people to buy like multiple units, like for example, 100 units and pay $10. And if that will like affect the metadata down here. That's something that we have to eventually check as well. And now all that's left is really testing it to see if it works properly. It seems like the logo is working just fine. Let's go over to the dashboard. But we still have 0 tokens, and that should be fine since we only get the tokens as soon as we buy the product. So let's go over to buy tokens, and I actually got an error. So let's grab that error, send it over to Claude, still in the context for what we were talking about, since this error only appeared after it changed that specific thing. Okay, that was actually pretty fast. Let's click to buy the product and see if we don't get any other errors. Okay, we were taken to the Stripe checkout. Let's just fill this in with dummy data. Let me hit pay and see what we get. It actually just took us back here. The avatar isn't working as well as the tokens aren't there. So let's prompt once more. So I just typed in exactly what happened, and now I'll send an image to it just to clarify exactly what I'm seeing so that it has the right content. Okay, fix is applied. Let's try this once more. Let me first refresh to see if the avatar shows. Okay, it shows for now. Then let's access premium content. Shows just fine. Buy tokens, buy random token, buy random products. Okay, clicked to pay it. Now I'm going to be redirected back. It seems like my avatar image is fine, but I don't get any tokens. Now let's reset the database since we changed the schema and see what might be going on there. Yeah, it still continues to show token 0 in here, so it isn't a problem with the front end. It's actually not getting the data from Stripe. So let me just copy exactly what I see here and send it over to Claude. Before I do that, let me actually read what it told me here because it might have some important information. So token display issue, it maybe tried to fix it in the front end, which wasn't the problem. Enhanced webhook logging, okay, wasn't the problem as well. To debug token issues. Now something else we should do is keep track of what's happening here in the logs and events from Stripe. And since the last verification was at 2:15, I'll just simply try to run that again and see if we get anything on Stripe side. Let me refresh this. If we don't, then maybe it's because, well, it's not tracking that event, and this should be informed as well over in Claude. So yeah, I sent both the images and described that I just completed the payment and I didn't get the detailed output from the server logs, nor did Stripe register an event/log, actually log/event. Oh, I actually think I jumped a pretty important step, which is logging into Stripe. Let me just confirm that. I don't think I did because, well, if I were able to create the local server, then it means that it was already logged in. So yeah, your pairing code, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I open the browser, I can just check whatever is the pairing code, allow access, access granted. And now let me close that and come back to Stripe, run the Stripe listen webhook again. I got a different sign-in secret, at which I'll go over to my env and fill that in right here. Let me stop that, clear the terminal. Let's npx Prisma db push just in case. And now let me run the project again. Let me try to buy the tokens again. It's still filled, but this time I got a log. And this really helps because I can take that log, make sure to not like get the complete Prisma log all the way down here, or else you'll just fill Claude Code with a bunch of useless context. So let me send that over to it and have it understand what's going on. Okay, that was pretty fast. I've noticed that at some point here, it described now we need to prevent double token addition. I don't know if I want that. So it means that now a user can't buy package of token twice. No, it's not the case. Let me clarify. The check prevents processing the same payment twice. Oh, okay. So we should be good. Let's try to purchase it again. Okay, it seemed to receive that payment. Tokens weren't really inserted, but let's check the database to see what went on there. Okay, so in the logs, it says payment history already exists, skipping creation. Tokens already added for this payment, skipping. Since this is happening, I have to specify this over inside of Claude and give it the context of what's happening. Because yes, we have executed a payment before, but what if the person just wanted to create, like to purchase it again? It shouldn't get this error. So all I really said is I did purchase it before, but even if I purchase it now again, it should still add plus 50 tokens to the account, but it's ignoring and not adding my tokens. Then I sent the log of what's going on. Yeah, this is like the most no-brain way to build an app. It may be easier since I'm a developer, I could just go inside of the code and fix this. But honestly, like if someone really doesn't know how to code and just specifying this inside of Claude Code, it's just so easy. Okay, it seemed like it fixed it. Not really sure about that implementation, but let's try again. Okay, now we got the 50 tokens. We just don't have the image in the user's profile anymore. And I'll admit that I'm a bit noob with this. Don't really know why it's going on, but got the tokens, but now the user's image in the navbar is gone again. Please make sure this never happens. This is like the stupidest prompt ever because of course I don't want this to happen ever again. Maybe like giving this context over to the AI is like useless, but I'll take my shot. Okay, perfect. Now I've reverted back to using avatar image, blah, blah, but no, it still doesn't work. So let me print screen that again, not working. And I've seen so many like vibe coding tutorials out there that they just skip, like they cut the video to when the AI fixes whatever issue they have after like 2 hours and then says that it was fixed in a single prompt. Here, I really want to show you that you'll face these problems. It's okay. It's normal. I guess like having the initials is fine, better than nothing. And okay, now we can successfully buy tokens. So let's do this just one more time, just to ensure that I'll get 100 tokens now. So buy random product. Now, the only problem is that when we get redirected back, it seems like it didn't apply the effects. But then when we refresh the page, it actually shows the applied addition of those tokens. So that's something that eventually we have to fix. But it's been like an hour and 40 and I'm still configuring things. So I'm kind of bored of that. Let's just add this to our notes. Make sure that tokens are refreshed when back from the Stripe checkout. Okay, that's something that we'll do later. Let's actually finally build the damn app. Since we have something kind of stable, let me, clone again, no locate. It's this right here, open, okay. So you can just click on this icon right here and generate a commit message as well as a description. It'll do that based on everything that it sees that was changed. So just, that should be fine. Nice. Now is the massive prompt. Now is when I'll design the entire prompt that will take care of creating, like allowing a user to generate the image. Before I do that, bathroom break. Okay, prompting time. I was just about to like type in this generic take a look at the entire project, but instead of doing that, let's just have Claude Code like the /init. Yep, I'll open up a new conversation to do that. So /init. I already have a claude.md here, but this doesn't really, it helps, but okay, it created the claude.md, updated it, which should help us. Let me leave the timer up there just so that you can check it. And I'll just simply copy the exact pattern that WebDev Cody already established here. I'll actually skip the model type. I'll always use Nano Banana. So select a style for your icon, a style selector that shows all. Let's first start with like 5 different styles. Now I found a problem here, which is the way that this JSON is structured. It built the entire JSON focused on the prompt. So right here we get metallic reflections on main edges, smooth mate finish on race, glossy animal like finish on eyes and teeth. This is specific for a lion, for example. If my logo were to be an apple, then it doesn't make sense to have these specifications. So what I'd have to do is have a layer of AI generating the JSON. And that's really not cost effective because I'd have to have an additional like way to build this JSON. I don't really want to have that additional cost. So what I'll have ChatGPT create for me is a generic JSON, not based on the prompt, but based on the image style. Please generate a JSON focused on the style 3D, then only have one parameter that has the prompt and angry lion. I'm getting some errors off of this, so let's go over to Claude. I'll just place that same prompt, place the JSON below it, and let's have that generic JSON created. This is actually really, really simple. Let's take this to Nano Banana and see what it builds based off on only this JSON. I mean, I actually hope it works. This is not bad. The only thing missing here is the hex. Add a hex color to the JSON so that the image generated is based off that. Okay, we got this color. Don't even know what this color is. Okay, it's the color of a lion. Let's change it to this color right here. Okay, I mean, not horrible. It's still 3D. It's just that, I mean, it painted everything with that hex color. Okay, so I specified that it changed it to primary color instead of just color. And now let's test that again. Okay, this is pretty cool. I forgot to change the color, but this is pretty sick. I like this. This website right here specifies how we can create an image using Nano Banana. I have never used this API, so let's just grab that and give it as context for the AI to understand how it should build this into our app. For the design, make sure it always uses ShadCN components. Now, I'm going to try to do something a bit bold because, and it's just bold because AI can really ruin this for me, but there is a neo-brutalism components page, which is this one right here. I love it. I think it's pretty neat, and I'll want my project to use it instead. The best way I've seen that AI gets the full context of using the neo-brutalism components is by me downloading it as a zip file, taking the entire repository. So let me copy that and paste it inside of my project. Since I don't want that to be committed, I'll go over to git ignore and place in that folder. So neo-brutalism components main 2. As soon as I hit save, the folder should be disabled from git. Now, instead of saying that it should use ShadCN components, I'll just say that it should always use the same exact components from the neo-brutalism components main 2. Okay, I think we're done. I was just taking a look at how he implemented the collection part, which is a table or, yeah, a history of all the icons that were generated. I guess I'll just place that inside of my profile page since, yeah, I think that he's missing a profile page here. Not really sure if, well, profile or settings. Yeah, there's actually no profile page, but that's fine. If the Claude.md specifies anything that restricts changing the styles, ignore that and continue on implementing the neo-brutalism style for the app. No need to ever run npm run dev, nor using migrations from Prisma. Just use npx prisma db push. Note, this is just for like while we're implementing. Ideally, if this is already in production, never run it like this. Have a simple user profile that shows all the logs generated where the user can also download them. Okay, I think this is enough. Let's open up a new conversation and make sure that we have all of the changes here already committed. Let me commit that, push origin. Let's paste that in and we should be good to go. Let me leave the timer here just so you can check how long it took to build everything. Okay, let me actually open up this tab right here. Okay, nice. Before hitting enter, I forgot to place it edit automatically. Yeah, I don't think that toggling it now will do anything. So I have to just always keep pressing these buttons. It seems like it's already in the last task and it's only been like 5 minutes. This was very fast. I don't know, like I'm unsure of what it built. I don't know if it was like the Opus 4.1 model. It would probably have a bunch of things wrong. Great, now let me update the Claude.md. Okay, it seems like it should be working already. So let's spin up the app, npm run dev. Before actually running npm run dev, I have to add the Gemini environment variable. Okay, yeah, it placed that environment variable in the example.env. Let me place that in here. So Google Gemini API key. Let me see where I can get that key. I think it's somewhere in here, like dashboard, API keys. Nice. create API key, name your key, simple AI logo generator. No clouds project available. Let's click on import project to use that same project. So here, simple AI logo generator, import. Okay, now select that, hit create key, grab that key. They should give us like some free tokens. Set up billing. Do I really need to set up billing? Yeah, we're on the free tier. Not sure. Let's test it. Let's place in the key right here, and now run the app to see what we're getting. Okay, it changed the landing page. Let's go over to the dashboard. Nice. I mean, I don't hate it. An angry lion. Now the predefined color. Let's choose this green color right here. Let's choose sticker. I just want one logo. Let me hit to generate. Failed to generate any logos. Okay, let's see why. Maybe it's because we're on the free tier. Yeah, it's probably because of that. You exceeded your current quota. Okay, so I have to set up billing. So to do that, probably just link a billing account, manage billing accounts, and I should stop recording this part because I don't want to leak any of my credit card informations. Okay, it seems like we're all set. Let's try that again. I think we don't need to rerun the app. Let's just click on generate logo. Failed to generate. Let's go back here and see what's going on. So I just had to link the account, like click on setup billing. Let's refresh this. And now I should have, here we go. So quota tier 1. Now I should be able to create the logo. I mean, ideally. Generating, it's taking a bit longer. So probably it's actually generating the logo now. Okay. It redirected me to the profile. I don't like that, but yeah, it created the logo. There's a download button here. I could just use that logo. Didn't really like the logo because it created a text and everything. Actually, it was sticker that I selected, right? So let's try 3D, an angry lion, and generate logo. Okay, generated the logo, and now here is the logo generated. All right, so there's a bunch of things we need to change. First of all, let's note that down here, the first thing is when the logo is generated, make sure that it shows up in the dashboard generation page instead of redirecting to the profile page. Okay, so this is the prompt. Just remembering to check out all the prompts for this project, just go over to my Notion file. It'll be all down here. And I'll place that all down in the same context window for the project creation. So just in case. Okay, it seems like it's done with that. Let's go over to our app, reload it, and yeah, it seems like it's working fine. The navbar is much, much better. Okay, an angry lion again. Let's have it design a sticker, and it should be red. Generate logo. Now down here, there's a skeleton, like it's loading something, but it's really not like that. I really didn't like this skeleton, to be honest. But yeah, I almost like the logo. Let's just continue iterating and improving this. And before we do so, let's check the navbar to see if we have any more errors. We do. So right here, let's specify everything that we're seeing here. So the first thing is we have that kind of a glitch in the dropdown from the user menu. What else? Okay, that's the prompt for that. Let's go over to profile, and I just noticed there is no way to go over to the profile from the drop down. Add the profile page to the drop down. Okay, the delete button was added. Let's check if it works. So click to delete it, wait for some seconds, and it's gone. Nice. Something else that might be interesting is this being a button. So whenever the user clicks here, he is redirected to buy, like to the buy tokens page. Okay, now inside this pricing page, I feel like things are a bit kind of strange in here. So let's change that. Place a top padding in the pricing page. What else? How it works, purchase tokens, user tokens, buy more anytime. That sucks. What payment methods do you accept? Blah, blah, blah. Let's actually like remove everything down here, because this is something we should think of before like placing that. I really want to think through this before sending this over to have real users on it. And let's see how our app behaves when we're logged out. So for example, if I try to go to the dashboard, okay, it fails and tells me to sign in. but I got an error there for a second. That shouldn't happen. Let me copy this. When a user is logged out and tries to access dashboard, for example, because I don't know if there are other pages with that same error, I get this error. It redirects to the authentication page as it should, but I shouldn't get that error. Let's try profile. Okay, works fine. Now if I try to sign in, it should be able to sign in just well. Okay, in this account, I have 95 tokens. So let's log into an account that has no access. Like this would be a brand new account. It's really important to test this out to see like how will your users behave inside of the app without anything in it. So if they try to type in an angry lion here, yeah, let's just use that. I didn't even test this picker, but yeah, it's working fine. And the custom hex might work fine as well. So yeah, minimalistic, I can't generate a logo. Nice, because I don't have any tokens. Okay, that's the way that it figured out, like it just disabled the button. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, let's test the payment process again with a new account just to see like how it behaves. So buy tokens, buy random product. Now let's see. Okay, came back and I can see 50 tokens here, but not on the nav bar. Let's use this opportunity to fix that as well. So let me grab this up here and place it down with our next prompt. Okay, I think we have everything. I'll just delete some of these, like this right here, just because I feel like it breaks the entire prompt. Okay, when a user is logged out and tries to access, okay, grab that. Go over to cursor, go over to Claude Code, paste that all in, and let's see what it gets us. Okay, that was pretty fast again. Let's check all of the changes to see if everything was applied correctly. Right, let's first generate a logo, a mad eagle, yellow, origami, generate logo. Nice. It scrolled down and now I have the card kind of pulsing to indicate that it's like loading something. And eventually when it's done, there you go. A mad eagle in yellow. I can download it. Pretty nice. Now if I click on the tokens button, I'm taken to the price page that shouldn't have all those texts beneath it. Yeah, it still has the how it works because I told it to just delete everything below how it works, so it didn't delete the how it works. Let me just go in there and delete it myself. Okay, save it. Shouldn't be here anymore. Why did I get this error the only time that I touched the code? Why, God, why? It's because I have too many clients running. To stop that, let me just npm run dev. I think we should be fine. Okay. By the way, that's a problem for later. Eventually, we'll probably have to fix that. Let me go over to my logos. Seems like everything okay. Seems fine. And let's buy more tokens and see if this token number is updated as soon as we get back from the Stripe checkout. Nice. It was immediately updated. Okay. We only have to change the landing page. So something that like when I'm in a hurry, when I want to just get things out there that I like to do is just to have AI look at my app and generate the landing page based off of that. But since we're kind of copying what web dev Cody did, something that he did for his landing page that I find pretty cool. Actually, he didn't place this in the landing page. It's inside of the community tab. So yeah, I think I'll just do that as well. Now there's a very, very important detail that I didn't mention before because I simply, for some reason, forgot about it, which is where you're going to store the image. If you don't select a place to store it, be it in an S3 bucket from AWS, be it in Convex or something, you're going to get this, which is an entire base 64 description of the image. This is so long that if I copy it and paste it up here, it'll take a while to even show up. And then if you drag this on, like my computer even like kind of freezes just by dealing with how big this is. So right now this is loading just fine, but eventually when you get a lot of users inside of your app, it'll be just impossible to deal with those images. But there is another alternative to this, which is upload thing. This is still in beta? No way. This has been in beta for so long. I mean, it works fine. I've used this before. I wouldn't say like this is the most reliable one, but just to get our app out there and not have a lot, see, like I've used it before. not have a lot of problems with it. Let me just delete this previous project, delete. Let's just go over to its documentation, grab everything inside of the Next.js app router page, copy it all, and give it as context inside of Claude Code. Now we're already at 30% of the context window for this chat. So let's open a new chat and specify everything that we need to not use base 64 images anymore. So you can get up to 2 gigabytes of file storage in the free plan for upload thing. And this is more than enough for me to test the app. I really don't think a lot of people will really use this. I'm not actually expecting to make a lot of money from this app. But yeah, simple AI logo generator. Okay, now I have access to a local key. Let's place that in and I'll actually try not to leak that key since I'm not seeing any place here that I can really change it later on. So yeah, let me hit enter and see if it builds this for us successfully. And by the way, let me already commit this as we have a lot of different changes. Like the design is pretty fine. The image generation seems fine as well. So let's send that over to our repository. Okay, so now the next steps that it instructed me was just to go get my API key from upload thing, but I already did that. So let's just use npx prisma db push since I noticed that it migrated some things here. I don't want that. So let's just do this instead. npm run dev, and let's check what we got. Actually, it didn't run. Yeah, so sometimes you just need to delete the node modules. Let me delete that. Let's delete the .next folder as well. Let's clear up the terminal, npm I, have it install everything, and then try to run the npm run dev again. npm run dev. Okay, yeah, we still got that error. Let me just grab that error that we were getting and send it over to Claude Code. Okay, it seems like it was actually a problem from Tailwind. So let's clear this up, try to run it again, and yeah, it's running just fine. Let me open up the project. Apparently I need to sign in again. Probably everything from my database was erased. Let me check if that is exactly what happened. Okay, so not only did the database get erased, but also it removed my the profile thing up here. You changed the navbar. Change it back with the drop down menu. I didn't change the navbar. I only added the upload thing, SSR plugin to the layout. Strange. The navbar looks correct and hasn't been changed. How hasn't it been changed? So certainly it was changed. Something bug, it is not showing up. And I just sent an image of the website so that it sees what's going on. Okay, it's saying that it's something with cache, which I don't think is the issue. Maybe it bugged in a previous change or with the Tailwind update that it performed. So let me check by doing the following. I'm going to create a new branch. So just whatever, test branch, create branch, bring all the changes to it. Okay, now that I created it, let me go back to the main branch, leave them on the test branch, and now let me check my app to see if the navbar is there. Yeah, it's not there, so the problem isn't with the recent changes. Let's go back to the test branch and let me add the correct context. Yeah, so I just asked it to look in the past commits to see what's going on. And after looking at that, I see the issue. The navbar in the last commit uses a different approach. So yeah, it seems like it broke the app. Let's run it again. Now we're getting a module not found error. Let's just grab that, send it over to Claude Code and have it install it. Okay, now for the strangest reason, the navbar is back. Yeah, that never happened before. But now let's go over to the pricing page, purchase it, and see what we get. After purchasing it, yeah, we got the 50 tokens. Let's try to generate any image. Minimalistic, generate one logo. Okay, let's wait a bit. Nice, the logo was generated. Now let's go over to upload thing and see if the image is here. Yep, there it is. So now it's being stored in an actual place instead of just a base 64. In the profile page, so my logos, I should be able to see the logo as well. There it is. And whenever I drag it up here, that is like this URL redirects like is from the upload thing. Okay, awesome. Now let me commit this. Let me head over to GitHub and merge this. Now I can keep working on the main branch. What's left? What else do we need to do here? The landing page, right. Now I can implement the feature that shows like kind of a community and shows all the logos, all the the images that were generated previously. Yeah, so this is my prompt. In the main page, please make it show at least 8 logos generated from all users. This will be in the landing page. Please make sure to stay with the design of the app. Place an easy step-by-step as well as a demo button explaining that people can generate the first logo for free. Don't invent any dummy data here. Just try to be accurate, land an accurate line. So let me hit enter. Okay, it seems like it's done. Let's take a look at it. Recently generated logos, we get just that. Then we get AI logo generator, try free demo, view pricing, how it works, describe your vision, AI creates magic, download and use. I hate these top 3, these step-by-step process. I don't like the step-by-step you created. It should have been based on the dashboard and the step-by-step users go through to create the logo. The recently generated logos can be, let's see, something like my image. This image in context should be like context in image, but I mean, yeah. Okay, this is what we got. Let me describe that. The community logos can be shown as very first thing in page. Now, how it works is correctly described. Now, as for this, no need to place the description of the logo, the image, but place the badge with, I mean, it's this badge right here. So profile, you'll see it. Wow, my navbar is gone again. Yeah, I have to fix that. The type with the image style, like it's done in the profile. Yeah, while it's still creating, let me grab these texts. It stopped generating. Okay, remove these texts, right? We need to do something about this navbar going missing. I'm not sure if it's a problem with the next folder that I need to delete and check that. Make the logos here in the main page smaller. I mean, everything is too, zoomed in. Right, that's better. My prompt now is just make sure that only 4 logos show per row here and that this is centered. Okay, now it seems like it'll actually show 4 logos at a time. What else? I think that's it. There'll be 8 logos. Let's commit this and have it fix the navbar. For that, let me open a new conversation and specify what's going on. Let me first take a screenshot of the page. There is some kind of glitch in my app that suddenly the buttons, menu, and user drop-down button from the navbar goes missing. And this right here is a problem, by the way. All these user fetches like that, this shouldn't happen. No, that was not the issue. Let me try to delete next. Let's save this. Let's delete node modules. Okay. And now let me npm run dev, actually npm I, wait for it to install everything, and then npm run dev. You can type it before having access to the terminal while it's doing something. That'll all show up as soon as it's done doing the previous job. Yeah, still not seeing the navbar. And it's just so strange because I know that it's there. Maybe it could be a problem from, and if it were a problem of it being responsive and not understanding that it's on a PC, I would at least see the drop down right here. So I know that's not the problem. Before I send this prompt, let me try pausing this and deleting my package.lock.json, also my .next, and also my node modules. Now let me npm I. Okay, created everything. Now npm run dev. Let's check to see if now it shows our navbar. Nope, still not showing the navbar. So let's send our prompt. Yeah, that didn't really fix it. Well, I think the problem is actually right here. Importing these styles are overriding. Yep, exactly. And I noticed this just after we inserted this, just as we got this inside of the globals.css, that started to happen. So the problem here is that we're importing some styles that are overriding our own navbar. The issue is actually this. Every time I import this, I get the nav bar goes missing. Let me just check if I just like remove this, or let's just comment it out. And let's see if like the app works even without that. Okay, works fine. Let's try to generate a new logo. So I'm add Eagle 3D, generate one logo. I have to test like generate multiple logos as well. Okay, generated it. There it is. Yeah, so we don't really need this right here. So whatever. Let's just ignore that. Okay, we got that up there. Honestly, for an MVP of a micro SaaS, we're fine. Like this should be sufficient. I mean, there might be a lot of edge cases I haven't tested, but let's get this posted. Let me erase that prompt. Let's commit this change. Oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to do, which is allow people to have one token. Like each email they create have a token to use. So I want to make sure all accounts are created with one token so that people can test the app. Please add that. This should be pretty easy. It should be as easy as just altering the schema.prisma in here to, reading schema.prisma right here. Yeah, there it is. Just default start with one token. That's it. That's really all we need. Yeah, since I don't want it to create a migration, let me just come over here, npx prisma db push. Let's push those changes over to the database and we should be fine. Yeah, we can already commit this. Let's create a commit message, commit, push origin. Nice. Okay, now we have to get this over to our EasyPanel. To do so, we need to first connect our GitHub here. If you just create app name, let's make this main. Let's go over to GitHub. And since our repository is private, then EasyPanel won't be able to access it. What we do is come over to settings, find GitHub in here. So GitHub, now click here to go over to the fine-grained tokens. In here, you should find that fine-grained tokens in there. Let me click to generate a new token. You'll have to authenticate yourself for GitHub. As soon as you do, just place in the token name. So my token name will be simple AI logo generator again. Resource owner, me, expiration date. I'll place this like 7 days. Public repositories, no all repositories, no only selected repositories. Yes. And what I want to do with this is specify the simple logo generator AI repository. I'll have to give it some permissions. These permissions are only contents. Okay, you can read the contents, then generate token. The token is right here. As soon as you click that, you can grab that token, come back here, replace it, hit save. And now what I usually do is just come over to the repository, grab the GitHub username, grab the name of that repository, place it in there. Let me close this. The branch, I believe it's main. Yep. And then just place in a slash right here. And if everything was configured correctly, then you should go to this next step where you can select Nix packs, ignore everything, just hit save. Now we'll have to fill in the environment variables. Just grab all of your environment variables from the project, paste it in here, and now let's configure each one of them. Since now for production, most of these will probably change. So the database URL will change. Let's save that. Let's go over to Postgres, credentials, and you can grab this internal connection URL right here instead of using the external host. Now, before I even change these environment variables, I have to set the domain because for some envs like this one, it'll require us to use the specific domain. So just go inside of your Cloudflare account, go over to DNS, and in here, you'll want to place in exactly your server's IP, which is up here. Just click to add record, place that IPv4 address right here in this field. Let's use @ for root. You can leave the proxy status toggled on, hit save, and this should be fine. Grab your domain, go back to your app, paste that domain in here, and hit create. Now let's make this the primary domain because then when we click on open, it should open up our page. And this problem right here might be just because we haven't deployed our app yet. So that should be fine. Let's just grab that URL, go back to our environment variables and replace everywhere that you see localhost 3000. Now let me start from the upload thing token. this should be updated. So let's go over to the dashboard, select that specific app, API keys, grab this API key from copy key, head back there, select everything, and just replace it. Nice. Let me hit save. And now I think the last thing is just configuring Stripe. So now we have to get out of the sandbox mode. To do that, switch to live account. I actually think there's a simpler way to just import everything from sandbox mode over to production, but I don't really remember how you can do that. Let me just click OK. I don't see anything. So let me grab the publishable key, head back here, replace that right here. Now let's grab the secret key, reveal it. You'll have to send a verification. If you click on this link, you'll open up Gmail already with the list of notifications from Stripe. So let me grab that, verify identity. And after a lot of authentications, you'll eventually have access to your live secret. Let me replace that there. And now the last thing we need is the Stripe webhook secret. Let me save the M for now. Let me head back here, webhook, create webhook. Now inside of your readme.md, there is a list of events that you should configure here in Stripe. Let's start off from product, just toggle that, select everything, price, same thing. Now checkout session completed. Let's go all the way up there, checkout, and then session completed. Now customer subscription created. Here there's customer, and then all the way down here, customer subscription created, then customer subscription updated, so deleted, and updated down here. Lastly, payment intent succeeded, which is right here. Nice. Let me hit continue, webhook endpoint, continue. The endpoint URL is also specified here somewhere. Yep, here it is. So /API/Stripe/webhooks. And we need our URL. So let's place that in. Okay, create destination. Then after we create it, we need to reveal the secret right here. Let's copy that, head over to EasyPanel and paste that in here. That's our last environment variable that we needed. Okay, let me hit save and we can probably deploy it. You can follow along the deployment over here. I haven't really tested building this app and probably it'll break. So no, that's not the command, npm run build. Let's try building it, see all the errors that it gets, and have Claude Code fix those errors. Yeah, there you go. Bunch of errors. Let me start a new tab, type in fix the build errors. Run npm run build until you fix them. Let's actually kill this deployment since it'll probably fail and wait for Claude Code to fix the build for us. Yeah, this is taking some time to build. Okay, it's finally done. Before I deploy this, let's test this locally just to ensure that while fixing some build issues, it didn't just bug the entire app. Okay, this seems to be working fine. Let's actually try to generate something. So minimalistic, let's test generating 2 logos. Okay, nice. So that was generated just fine. So let me try building it myself, npm run build. Okay, built successfully. So now let me commit this. Wow, it seems like it changed a lot of things. Push origin. Now we should be able to deploy this just fine. Now, the only error I remember we can get at this point is something related to Prisma. And if we do, it's as easy as just getting the log of what happened and sending it over to Claude Code, just as we did with basically everything. Okay, it seems like it was deployed. Let's click to open and check. Okay, pretty nice. Let's try to sign in, connect with Google. Oh, yeah, this is because we need to go over to Google, go inside of the clients field and add this as an authorized redirect URI. As soon as we do so, hit save. Let's go back there. And now if we try again, it should log in successfully. Nice. Okay, this was not planned at all, but it took like 4 hours and 20 to get it deployed and like working. Let's actually try to buy tokens. Oh, this field isn't working because we need to add the products to the production inside of Stripe. So product catalog, add product, logo generation, generation tokens. In here, more pricing options, package pricing. It'll be, let's have it like $5 each, 30. units. Of course, I'm going to change all of this. Billing period monthly. I don't know why it has that, but okay. Oh, it's because I didn't toggle one off. Okay, next. Yeah, we have that. So add product. Then inside of the product, we need to add the metadata. So tokens, and the value is 30. Save. Now, if we go back to the app and refresh this page, there it is. So clicking on that, now is where we test to see if the webhook, if everything is working fine. It should be working quite fine. And honestly, I'm really hungry right now. It's way past my lunchtime. So I think we progressed a bit in over 4 hours and 20. This is the whole process that you can use to just publish an app as fast as possible. This app actually works. You can use like a recent technology like I did with Nano Banana. I have never created anything with Nano Banana, but just getting the documentation, specifying it over inside of Claude Code and giving it the right context regarding what you want to build can really get you to this state. Utilizing libraries like the one from Neo Brutalism can get your app looking pretty solid. And also using these starter kits like the AI Forger starter kit can get you building way faster, as you have like some pre-configurations to Stripe and everything. You just need to learn to give the right context over to the LM so that, well, it knows how the project works and how to like manipulate the project to do whatever you need. If you have any question while you're implementing your own project and following along this tutorial, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like if this helped you at all and consider subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then.